everyone. Happy New Year. It's John from John Talks Indian Cinema. Yes, the Cine-MANIAC is back with another 10ish minute review. And I hope 2025 is the best year you've ever had in your entire life. And I know that 2025 is going to be great for this channel because of your support. It's been a great couple of months and things are going in the right direction. I want you to know how much I appreciate that. So today, I am reviewing an interesting film. This was recommended by a brand new subscriber, and their name is at SEVIHO4274. Sevaho 4274. So, welcome to the channel. Thank you for subscribing. And unlike those big channels who take your recommendation and just put it in a bowl somewhere and never get to it, I'm on top of it, okay? Now, you loyal viewers out there, you know I always get your Cully, I don't want you to get ticked off, all right? I got more films coming from you. Don't worry about it. But Sevaho, I wanted to do this one, and I'm glad I did. But I have to tell you, Sevaho, this was a strange film. The film is 2007's No Smoking. It's directed by Anurag Kashyap, who Sacred Games, Raman Raghav 2.0, Ugly, and Gangs of Wasseypur. And this director definitely has a style, which was evident in this film. It stars a actor I really like, John Abraham, who recently Kabul Express, Zinda, and I also saw him in Madras Cafe, amongst others. I also understand he was one of the only actors that got the script, because this was offered to a lot of people. In fact, I think it was offered to Amir Khan, but nobody got the script or was brave enough to do the script because it's not the most likable character. Ayesha Takia, who is in Wanted, who I have to give a lot of credit to because in this film she plays two roles, and I had no idea it was this. I had an inkling it was the same person, but they looked different enough that I wasn't 100% sure. Paresh Rawal, who is in every Indian film ever made. Oh my God, Soorarai Pottru, Sanju. I just saw him in Bazi, as a matter of fact. Ranveer Shori, who is in EK the Tiger and Tiger 3. So, the story. The story is about a guy who wants to quit smoking. No, that's it. That's the story. And it's loosely based on a Stephen King short story called Quitters. It's also based, there's a film, a 1985 film based on Stephen King called Cat's Eye. And it's a trilogy of stories, all interconnected. And one of the stories is Quitters, Inc. And as soon as this movie started going, that's exactly what I thought of. Because well, I shouldn't say that. There are certain things that happen to John Abraham's character, K, nothing else, just the letter K, that happens to James Woods. Now, a lot far worse things happen to K than happens to James Woods. A lot more. Before the credits even roll, there's a note. It says 1,000 people stop smoking every day by dying. Now, I also have to say this up front. I have never smoked a day in my life. So the whole smoking thing, I am, never, don't want to, no interest in it. So that was a little tough for me because I don't smoke. So to be that hooked on something like that. But having said that, it's just, it was a stream of consciousness film. There were things in it that were disjointed, like the scenes were a little disjointed, and you really didn't understand what was going on at certain points in the film. So I'll give you a little of the breakdown. I'm sure most of you have seen this film, but in order to quit smoking, he goes, a couple of friends of his who all wear hearing aids. Now, again, that was a foreshadowing, and I knew that. You could figure that out pretty quickly that they're all wearing hearing aids, the same hearing aids. So they tell him about this laboratory that they can go to quit smoking. So it opens up with him in Siberia, and he's locked in a room, and he gets out and he's running across the snowscape, and he gets shot, and there's a bathtub on top of this hill. He dies for the bathtub and then wakes up in his apartment with his wife. And his wife is getting tired of all the smoking. He smokes nonstop, always smoking. And I also understand John Abraham doesn't smoke, or used to smoke but didn't smoke. He had to smoke a lot in this film, and it wasn't faked either. He also didn't look, the movies I've seen with John Abraham in the last that were made in the last 5 years. I mean, he's a much bigger guy, much bigger. He was still pretty buff in this, but he was very lean. So he wasn't, and it was scraggly hair. It wasn't a glamour role, wasn't, and he wasn't a very nice guy either. So he goes to this laboratory, and in a very subtle way, he goes down, 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 down till he finally gets to the guru, played by Paresh, who's going to help him quit. Now they bring out the contract, which is this giant, like Dante's Inferno. It's this giant book, the contract. So then they give him a smaller one that explains the rules. He's got to do everything they say, no matter what. And well, what if I don't sign? Well, then they put him in this box that sinks into the floor. A really cool effect, by the way. Um, and then he wakes up and he ends up signing, and he's got to pay. He's got to pay. I think it was 21 lakh. I think that's what it was. 21 lakh, which is 2 million. And he's like, that much? That's crazy. He goes, then they tell him how much he smokes and how much he paid on cigarettes, how many places he burned, and how much money, so they did that, the cost benefit analysis, so he ends up signing. So now it comes out that if he does one thing wrong, if he smokes once, this is what's going to happen. If he smokes twice, this is what's going to, everything's worse, 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 and worse. And of course, everything gets worse, 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 and worse. But this is the part of it that I didn't quite follow. And I don't think that reading everything about the film, the way it came together, and the director, he didn't really care if you were able to follow it or not. Because there are scenes down in that area with the guru that it almost was like they walked through a force field and you saw this little shimmering. Now, when it was happening, I didn't understand what it was. And then at the end, I think I got what it was. I'm not 100% sure. But I guess the story, I'm going to give the story a 3 only because it really is. If you watch Cat's Eye and watch Quitters Inc., that's what the story is. It's based on the Steam, which is okay. I'm not saying that's bad. I'm just saying it's nothing new. Now, some of the stuff, I mean, it had a sci-fi vibe to it. There's references to the Holocaust, especially at the conclusion. The afterlife, the soul. I mean, it was really all over the place. But as far as the performances go, look, John Abraham was. I thought he was great in this. I mean, his frustration. First of all, he's kind of a heel in the beginning, and then as he realizes how deep he is into this and what the repercussions are, he's in panic mode. Plays that really well. And then when it gets towards the end, when you realize what's happening to him, all because he didn't pay the guy, the guru, a rupee, 1 rupee, his soul is lost forever. And so I thought he was great. I thought the guru he was never like menacing. I shouldn't say that. He was menacing, but he wasn't like he was. How do I say it? He wasn't angry. He wasn't like, twirling his mustache evil. He was just kind of like this big lump who made things happen, but it was effectively creepy. And the girl who played his wife, Ayesha, Anjali was his wife's name, and Anna was his secretary's name. His secretary was kind of hot. You know, she had bright lipstick on. She's always trying to kiss him. And I'm like, what the hell's going on here? And I said, is that the wife? Like it looked enough like her that I thought they could be the same, but they looked different enough that I wasn't sure. So then you find out later on, yeah, they did that because he didn't want people to know he hired his wife, which comes out at the very end. So I'm going to give the performances a 4. I thought it was a brave performance. I thought doing this film that really isn't linear storytelling. It really wasn't, and it was disjointed. Um, I'll give the performances a 4. As far as the music goes, there was a couple things in it that I really liked. Well, every song had something to do with smoking, which I thought was really funny. But now you guys don't know this about me because I don't talk about it, but I am a huge Rat Pack fan. Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin, Sammy Davis Jr., and within this film, they play That's Amore. When the moon hits your eye like a big pizza pie, that's amore, that's amore. And another one of my favorite songs, Ain't Love a Kick in the Head. Um, they played that. So I was like, oh, I like this music. But then they did a thing where they go to this a smoking bar. And it's the first big number that they do because there's music throughout. But the musical numbers weren't gratuitous, like let's throw in a musical number, except at the end credits. And even that was a little confusing too, which I'll get to. They go to this jazz bar where everybody's smoking, right? And you got these dancers up on stage, and they're all doing Bob Fosse moves. Angular, the hat, very Bob Fosse. And I go, boy, I got a Bob Fosse vibe. And the song is every time a cig is lit, I burn. Well, a little into the song, all of a sudden they pull back, and you see on the back wall, it says neon sign, the Bob Fosse. That's the neon sign. So that's exactly what they were doing. And if you know the show Chicago or even Cabaret, it's very reminiscent of that. Um, so really that's the big production number. And then the only other one is big production number at the end. So I'm leaping ahead a little bit before I get to my verdict. But so what happens? And I'm speculating, I just don't know. But what I think happens is because he didn't pay the rupee, his soul is taken out of him. So he exists in two areas. His soul is, I think, hell. I'm not 100% sure if that's what it is, but sure looked like it. While his other self is back in his regular life with his wife. And at one point, he's looking through a two-way mirror and he's seeing himself, but he doesn't have the rupee to get on the call, so he can't talk to himself. Well, then all these other guys like him, they're all wearing jumpsuits. They go into this bathroom. And now, earlier in the film, they were showing Schindler's List, and they talk about Hitler a lot in this. And you kind of could tell what was going to happen. Well, they all get in there. They're all standing there. The shower comes on, and steam comes up, and all of a sudden they start to evaporate. It's a pretty intense and creepy scene. But what I think that was because at the beginning of the film, the guru talks about cleansing your soul, and the only way you can cure yourself is to cleanse the soul. And I think that's what it was. So now his soul is cleansed. He doesn't smoke anymore. But then at the very end, and again, I didn't quite get this. At the very end, he's in his apartment. Oh, first, okay, so what happens is he wakes up in his bedroom, okay, and he's with his wife. Now he goes to the bathroom. He's looking in the mirror. He holds up his hands, and two of his fingers are missing, like his friend who got his fingers cut off because he smoked. So then it fades, and then it goes to the credits, dead silence. And I've never seen that before in an Indian film. I thought that was interesting. Now they come back, and there's an after credit scene where So there's someone he's at his desk, and someone holds up a finger, and then there's a final song: "Puff It, Blow It, Smoke It," and it's sung. I think it's sung by Bipasha Basu, who's a beautiful woman. Now they do this big long number, right? And this is the part I didn't understand. So they finish the song. They're looking at each other. She pulls out a gun and shoots, and then it ends. That's how it ends. So I don't know what that meant, and maybe the director doesn't care if you know that or not. But so based on everything that I've said, I'm going to give the movie a 4. But it was strange. It was one of the stranger Indian films that I've seen, and there's been some strange ones. But it was a little hard to follow. You didn't quite like. There's a scene where he wants to smoke after he goes in this program. I know I'm jumping around, but bear with me for a second. And he has his people buy him tickets everywhere around the world. Then he reaches in a box, pulls out a ticket, and flies. So no one knows where he's going to go. He didn't know. He ends up in Africa. So now he's in the middle of this like African desert, alone. He pulls out a cigarette, smokes it. All of a sudden, a manhole cover appears, and this guy comes out. And now he ends up back at that hell or whatever it was. So, like, what are we talking about here? Is this heaven? Is this hell? Are they aliens? Because the other thing they did, he does this thing at the beginning when he first goes to the laboratory. They pull out a digital handprint pad. He puts his hand on it. And when he did that, I want to get this right. Right. He oh wait. Uh oh he it identifies him as Homo sapien and very rich. Which that was kind of odd. The other thing they did, and I didn't understand this, it was kind of goofy, but they did it throughout the movie. When someone would have a thought, they would put a cartoon thought bubble above their head. I don't understand why they did that. Again, it was a little bit different. But listen, I appreciate the effort because the cinematography was fantastic. It was shot really uniquely. I mean, it really was. And the location, like Siberia. I don't think they went to Siberia, but they went someplace like that. Because you can't fake that. I mean, that was real. So I loved the way it was shot. I thought the performances were really good. So for a movie that confused me and was hard to follow, not hard to follow, but hard to connect everything. Like they see again, I'm bouncing around. One of the guys gets his finger cut, but by bringing K in, he gets his finger back. And the finger's got a little ring on it. So he puts the little ring with the finger on his finger. It spins and heals his finger. So now he's got his fingers back. Like no explanation, like the technology. So it wasn't magic, right? So that's the kind. But having said all of that, Seviho 4274. It wasn't long. It was a little over 2 hours. It was an easy watch. It kept my interest. I wanted to know what was going to happen to this guy. Was he going to quit? Was he going to die? So from that perspective, I liked it. I would love to know if you guys have seen this, what you thought about it. Am I crazy to have enjoyed something that was so out there? A very artsy film, I have to tell you. And I'm a big fan of this director because everything he's done, I've liked. So anyway, that's my review. I hope I did it justice. And again, I know some of you are new to the channel, and what's really important to build this channel, because YouTube's not going to do it till you get 1,000 views. YouTube won't push this out. And right now, I'm taking baby steps, so I'm looking to get 350. So please subscribe, hit the notification button, hit the like button, and if you know someone would maybe be interested in this stuff, why not share it? Also, I've got a long list of movies that I'm going to watch. I think I've got 8 left on my list. I'm not going to do them in any order. I posted them in the community notes. But if you've got a trailer you'd like me to react to, let me know that too, because that seems to get a lot of traction. I've got a few. There's Netflix is doing an behind the scenes RRR documentary. I'm going to do a trailer reaction on that because I am definitely going to watch that. That I would love to know how they did some of the stuff they did in that film. Anyway, just drop it in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Oh yeah, I got to give you a word because people don't watch till the end. So what word can I give you? I know what I'm going to give you. Happy New Year. If you watch till the end and you're listening, put down, before you give me a comment, put down Happy New Year in the comment section. That way I know you're sticking till the end because I appreciate that. I know that. Hey, it's not like these are 45 minutes. I mean, they're only 15 minutes or so. They're 10ish-minute, 10ish-minute reviews. Okay, that's it. Okay, we'll talk to you soon on John Talks Indian Cinema with a trailer reaction or another 10ish-minute review. Thanks for watching, everyone. Have a great day.
हर दिल की अपनी ही ताल है, अपना ही एक राग है। हर दिल की अपनी धड़कने, अपनी ही एक आग है। जज्बात पिघले पिघले